I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
Speaking of boomers, this should be showing. The chart should be showing. It's a miracle I got to this. I'm looking at it now. It looks like I got it showing. Because for once, I'm not the most important thing on the internet. It's this chart. So many of you may have seen this chart. And many of you all still, like me, one of your main goals in life is to find someone else. Ha! Those fools! No, I'm joking. It should be the number one thing. But fuck it. Career and corporations, right? Certain group of people that don't like the other. Anyway, won't get so dark. You may have seen this chart, and it shows what's the top says how heterosexual couples have met. Data from 2009 and 2017, but this chart goes back to 1940. And this is done by research that I can't read right now because I don't touch the mouse to screw this situation up that I got right now. But if you go back to 1940, the main ways by which couples met in the past was through friends, almost tied for met through family. Met through family is like 29%. Met through friends looks to be at about 28%. And the other one is met in primary or secondary school. Now, the main purpose of this chart, you might see that big red jump line. That's the internet. And so it's gone from obviously 0 to about what looks to be about 40%. Easily the single most common way, the plurality, I should say, by which people meet. And then it's kind of tanked down by every other field. Every other field has tanked down because of that. And the thing that I would add to this is, okay, fine. The obvious thing about this chart is that more and more people are meeting online. Well, duh. But then I always pointed out, and I don't know if you could see it, but in here it says met through or as coworkers, meaning you met at work. And from about, what is that, 1980 to about 1995, 1998, 15 years to almost 2 decades, the second most common way people met back in the day, and it was only about 6% back in 1940s, but back in the 80s and 90s, essentially, the second most common way you'd meet someone that you'd love and, maybe you'd like to join you was people at work. And I've always laughed at that where I'm like, because why would you, girl? Oh, God, no. And then you could see after Anita Sarkeesian, Anita Brown, the Justice Clarence Thomas thing. This goes back to before your time. That dropped starting in about the mid to late 90s to where it's maybe 1 in 10. But now, oh God, no, you can't meet anymore. You can't meet anymore. Oh my God, sexual harassment. Oh my God, harumph. And you girls, where have all the good men gone? I mean, you mean like reliably employed people in your same profession? Why would you want to meet anyone at work? I always found that funny. You want to find an intelligent, reliable, employed man with the same interests. Well, just me, but wouldn't you want to find someone at your profession then, maybe? No, just not there. All right, what about the gym? They work out. People are physical shit. No, don't meet there either. Where would you like people to be? Oh, online. It's all got to be online. So I always got a kick out of how an increasing number of places that naturally and in a biased way select for higher quality males, gym, work, employment, things like that. No, we can't do that. That's bad. We don't want to meet there. But then I looked and it was tied for third last place. And then even in 1940s, this was one of the last places you'd meet someone. And then it drops to last place from 1960 all the way to probably today. It's either the worst place to meet people or tied for the worst place to meet people, along with Neighbors. Neighbors is pretty bad, but this is based on the statistics. If you look at the entire chart, on average, all times, church was the least likely place you'd meet your future spouse or your significant other. We don't use partner because there's no such thing. That's for people that aren't capable. Those are for robots. They're partners. Church is horrible. It is a statistically horrible place to meet women or women to meet men. And it escaped this is an older chart. It's a couple of years old. And I see that thing. I said, well, what's at the bottom? I look, it's church. Church is one of the worst places for you guys to meet a gal. Now, somewhat, I say facetiously, and even facetious is a bit of a strong word, but somewhat tongue in cheek, I do real Christian dating stories, a real Christian dating life. I forgot what it was, where the big push, traditional tradcon conservative American, the Daily Wire and Dennis Prager and all those types, not slamming on them. You need to go find a girl at church. You really got to go to church. That's the place to go. You got to find yourself a good Christian girl, or I guess it says church, not mosque or synagogue or anything. And that advice has not only been bad for the past 10 or 20 years, it's been bad since it's been bad since the 40s. This is like the worst advice to give in the past 60 years. And oh God, what was I going to say about it? Oh, so with the real Christian dating thing, I thought it was a little bit tongue in cheek because we've all you're in a Christian nation more or less. We've all dated Christian girls recently, more or less. And like, man, they're not much better than secular girls. Matter of fact, the secular girls are a little bit more honest. I'm thinking, well, maybe that was the case all the time. It's never been the best place to meet women to date and go and form a relationship. It's your friends. It was through family. Now, let me stop sharing, but I'm going to go back to the chart. What is this one? Met at a bar or restaurant. So you see that kind of creeping up during the boomer years. It flatlined, interestingly enough, from the 70s to about the 2000s. And then that's picked up again since about 2005 to as recent as the data got it. That's interesting. Meeting at a bar or restaurant, I didn't think that was happening. I thought that the trends are the opposite of that. But every other category is down. That's down a third from the peak, half. What's the worst? Met through family. That's just tanking because no one gets stay married anymore. Met in primary school, that tanked from third place to almost 5%. Met in college. Which one's that? That was never that good of on the low. Now it's you are less likely to find your spouse in college than you were in 1940. So all you ladies going for the MRS degree, that's not there. Neighbors, that was never a good performer. They're obviously all going down compared to online. But man, that church, that is the one that stuck out to me. And it did kind of corroborate what I felt were more anecdotal stories. There's always the progression. There's I'm noticing something with my own eyes. And that's the weakest form of evidence. I personally am experiencing something. I witnessed an anecdote. That's not data. Then you talk to your friends and you start to, a group, we're starting to notice a trend. Well, that's better than just you observing the trend, but you got selection bias. Then there's informal data collection polling and stuff like that. And then there's actual they've done academic research and studies, and it's a big if they've done it intellectually honestly, and their methodology isn't designed to push a generally leftist narrative. And I don't know how they did this polling data, how they constituted the data, but assuming there's no nefarious, I don't know why they'd have this bias against church. I think their main goal was to, well, what's happening online? Boy, however, that corroborates what a lot of you guys have experienced. If you have dated girls, Christian girls, I'd say in the past 25 years, oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. We've talked about at length why that is. And the short answer is most of these girls aren't Christian. They just want to belong to a club. They want belonging. They're not there for Christ. Oh, but yeah, church is a horrible and has always been a horrible place to meet women. Not to say you couldn't, but yeah, you guys are right. If you're going to church, you're going there for your God. Okay. You go to religious activities for your God. You do not go there to meet chicks. Yeah, you are. What is that? You are 10 times more likely to find your wife online than at church. That's what the numbers are. That's what the numbers are. So there we go. All right. Just want to share that. I'll be on with Vlad Elkins here in 50 minutes. Tune into the Elkins Accounting Hour. You can find that. Green Schwartz are $5. This is why I love all the Daily Wire advice and why it will not work. Hasn't worked for me 28 years, Christian, and not effective in my experience. I think they are religiously, ideologically committed to that. It's kind of a good sign that they actually, they'd be a bad Christian if they weren't advocating it. So Christians are kind of hands are tied. But if you're a statistician or looking at it through secular eyes, it is even for you religious guys, it's a horrible place to meet your wife. I think that's true. Your place of worship should be your place of worship. It shouldn't be where you go and try and pick up tail. And I've had that before. I had a good friend of mine. He invited me to play basketball. Guys would play basketball, girls would play volleyball. And then in theory, you were supposed to meet up and have Christian babies. But the girls would just leave. Guys would maybe go, maybe you'd go get a beer. Well, that was it. And I appreciated him inviting me over. I'm not Christian. But I don't think ever going to church, because I was obviously raised Christian, I'm trying to think if I've ever met a girl at church. I don't think I have. I don't think I ever met a gal at church. And then the gals I did date were Christian, were horrible. Just horrible. Well, they were horrible Christians too. They weren't Christians. That was the whole point. They weren't Christians. They just claimed to be it because they, as I said before, they love lording the Bible and the rules over you. And they love putting God and Jesus in between you and them so that you got to perform higher and better. And honestly, most of them just probably didn't like sex. I'll be honest. I'm speculating. One would never know. But that's and witnessing other quote Christian couples that I've seen them like, oh, God doesn't want us to have sex. Oh, sin of the flesh or whatever, however you want to construe and abuse the Bible. But now here you go. I would be curious. I don't know how a sociologist would do this. Can you measure whether Christian girls are fun? Can you measure how fun people are? That's what I'd want to know. I never had any fun with dating these Christian girls. They were always pissed off and angry, always tense. And I was like, golly, you want to, do you like your first date? Like, do you want to have a drink? No. Okay. Want to go dancing? Well, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. Just relax. I'm wondering how if there was a metric, number of times you go out per month, number of drinks you have, and not to say vice would correlate. Do you eat ice cream? Okay, fine, you work out and everything. How many times do you allow yourself a treat? How many times do you laugh per week? I'm wondering that really. I don't. Maybe it has something to do with Christianity. Maybe it's just what is a co-correlation variable. I don't think, oh, I'm Christian, therefore I'm boring and not fun. I think there's something that they have a trait that they are not fun, but then they also gravitate towards faking being a Christian. I want to be very precise with my words. And I don't know, I don't care that much anymore about it, but I just wanted to point that it's been sitting there right there the entire time. No, in other words, men, no, Christian guys looking for your Christian. No, you're not wrong. It's a bad pond. It's the worst pond to go fishing in. Think about this, okay? Online dating is horrific. So bad, we're like, don't even do it. We're trying to get like, no, ask girls out in public. There's no reason you should be asking. That's 10 times better. Online dating is 10 times more successful than dating at church. Oh, it's horrible. Now, all you fake Christian girls come in and say, the Lord has a plan, the Lord will provide, Jesus is my boy, whatever, horse shit. Just say you don't want to date guys. Okay, just say you don't like men. Just say you don't hate them, but you don't really want to date them. And you're good, or become a nun. You're the perfect candidates. Go become nuns. The Black Blur. $5. Oh, Cappy, don't say that. Ironically enough, without the church, you would never have been born. So I never asked to be born. And the jury, not to say, I'm trying to say, the jury's still out whether this fucking life was worth it or not. Right now, times are good. We still got another third of the life going on. Just because you're alive doesn't mean that's a good thing. Yeah, in some ways, I guess it is a win. I have sentience, but I wouldn't have known that had I not been born in the first place, because there would not have been a brain to have the sentience to realize I have sentience if I wasn't there. See what I'm saying? Not doing, I wish I was never born. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not always so clear. I gave you life. Shut the fuck up, lady. You just didn't close your legs. Oh, hooray. You are brave and amazing. Reading shorts are $5. Also, you get a lot of the born again ones. Right. Well, if we had a pie chart, percent of Christians in general, I'd add. Geez, excuse me. Hang on. God is striking me down. This would apply for men as well, but look, percent of women, reasons they go to church. Jesus would be a 5% very thin piece of the pie. To forgive atrocities so you can live with your horrific sins you've committed against other people, that'd be 40%. And then I think 55, however the number, the remainder would be bored. That's it, bored. But again, that goes for, I'd say, the vast majority of people inside a church. But yeah, the born again ones, that's just, I fucked up so tremendously and I can't live with just how bad I hurt people. But Jesus forgives. All right. Link below. The book of Numbers, analyzing the ROI and the pursuit of women. Always contributing, always adding to the pile of statistics that I don't make up. It's society. Y'all, ladies, this is everyone's behavior. I'm just reporting on it. I didn't make that chart. I don't make the data. I just go and find it, put it in a PowerPoint or a book. Like, here you go. And then here comes the but. But if you pray every day, you only got a 5% chance of divorce. Good. For the less than 1% of the population that prays every day. That is great. That is going to help out society. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.